I'm your host with the most welcome 23, you're joining me for My First Two Loves, Chapter 57, Out in the Cold. Through all the rough times of winter, being able to express myself through art was my lifeline. And I wasn't the only one. I knew countless other people that felt the same way, especially Mackenzie. She just found a place to be creative that wouldn't land her behind bars, and now it was going to be shut down. I had to save the photography program no matter what it took. And that meant raising as much money as possible I could with the silent auction. But there was only a couple days left. I couldn't sleep. I pulled out my phone and texted Mason, not really expecting him to respond in the dead of night. Mason, I am so stressed. I need to take the perfect picture, but that's easier said than done. I flopped back into my bed, defeated, and then my phone buzzed. I can't sleep either. Maybe you should, ask yourself, what exactly is the perfect picture? Something with an emotional impact. I think that's what really is missing from my photos. I need to take a picture that evokes a visceral feeling to people. Well, that makes sense. Otherwise, it's like, a nice pic, so what? Yeah. I really want to shoot something that makes people stop in the tracks and go, wow. Well, I have an idea. Murphy's Beach is only a few hours away. Has a killer view at sunrise. I don't know, sunrises and sunsets are kind of basic. No? How dare you call them basic? Knowing you, I can already tell you'll come up with your own unique spin on it. Ready for a trip to the beach? Now. In the middle of the night. Yeah. And? You only have 2 days left before the auction. There's no time to spare. We're both awake anyway. Well, wait outside. I'll come pick you up. The fact that Mason would drive me up the coast at the crack of dawn for a single picture made my heart swell. Of course I'd go, but I had to sneak out of the house first. Long as I made it out without waking my dad up, I'd be back long before he got up in the morning. Mac does this all the time. I just gotta make it to the front door and I'm golden. When the lights flicked on, I froze as a familiar voice sounded behind me. Busted. Wow, I never get to do this to you. Mac! Quiet, you wake Dad! Shh, I don't want to get in trouble. Don't worry, he's sleeping like a log upstairs. Where are you going in the middle of the night? Mason's helping me get a photo for the silent auction. Her smug smile melted away, and my fierce baby sister rolled her eyes. Only you two would be sneaking out to do homework. Get something good, okay? I'll be bored to death if I have to go without you and photography club next year. Think you can cover for me with Dad in case he notices I'm gone? What else are sisters for? I rushed outside to find Mason already leaning against his car in the driveway waiting. Hey, gorgeous. He lifted me into a hug, squeezing tight as I breathed in his cologne. You greet all your friends with hugs? Question mark? Stage 1, jailbreak complete. Let's get going to that beach before my dad smells something fishy. She used a dad pun. I'm done here. As the world around us slept, we cruised through the empty roads. I snuck glances at Mason as he drove. The blue tint of the dashboard lit up his face, casting shadows across his gentle cheekbones, soft lips, and strong jaw. Sensing my gaze, Mason's eyes flicked over to me, and he smiled. My favorite smile. It's been forever since we've been to the beach together. We were just kids. In the dark, his fingers found mine, and my heart leapt into overdrive. Yeah, I remember. Mac was just a baby, and I discovered the joys of s'mores. By the end of the summer, there wasn't a square inch of me not covered in graham cracker crumbs and melted marshmallow. You were so good at toasting the marshmallows. I still remember when mine slid off the skewer and landed in the fire. Yeah, you cried. It was hilarious. I did not. You must have remembered wrong. Soon, Mason pulled over to the overlook by the beach. We stepped out and listened to the muffled crash of the water hitting the shores as the winter chill seeped into our clothes. Looks like we beat sunrise. Nothing left to do now but get to the beach and wait. There must be one more thing we can do. Remember that spot on the beach where all the older kids would hang out? If by hang out you mean spend all night making out with their summer flings, you must be talking about the stage. One and only, now that we're the older kids. Maybe we should uphold the tradition. Wow, Mason, real smooth. I'd used to spend every summer dreaming of making out there with Mason, and here was my chance. No, he's real smooth. You wanna go make out? Oh, okay. If it's tradition, then we almost have to go. Great minds think alike. I climbed out and I gathered my supplies. As we made our way there, Mason quietly slipped his hand into mine. When we arrived, the remnants of someone's late-night bonfire lay smoldering in a pit. As we settled in the sand, we stoked the fire and it came roaring back to life. Looks like we just missed someone else's rite of passage. The cold wind blew and sent a shiver down my spine, and Mason pulled me into his arms. I have to say I'm kind of freezing in the sand. Oh, thank God, me too. What can I do to warm you up? I think a kiss should do the trick. Yeah, if you're sure it'll help. Mason caught my cheek and brought his lips to mine, kissing me so softly. My lips tingled when he pulled back. Like that, or maybe like this. His hand slipped behind my head and he crashed his lips into mine, deepening the kiss almost immediately. Mason Jennings, who knew you were such a tease? I just want to make sure I get it right. Your health is so important. This time I pulled him to me, hungry for more, and he wasn't shy about giving it to me. Mason hovered over me and I spread my legs to make room for him. You're so beautiful, you know that, right? We sank back, and not even the cold sand could tame the fire that was building. Everything about the kiss was magic, but we knew we needed to leave it at just a kiss. Reluctantly, Mason pulled away for a third time, chest heaving. It's a little embarrassing to say, but you have no idea how long I've waited for this moment. I used to stay up late thinking of what we'd be like when we were old enough to do this like the big kids. Mason slipped his fingers under my chin and tilted it towards him. You never have anything to be embarrassed about with me. I don't know about that. I daydreamed about us doing so many things of so many of this place's traditions. I filled whole diaries. Which ones? Too many to count, but I really wanted to take the plunge, jump the fire. I'm guessing water means jump the plunge. We already did that once today. Jump the fire. At the end of the summer, all the couples that lasted got to jump the fire. And I just knew if we ever got together, we'd have lasted. Then let's make a promise. When we make it to the end of the summer, right before we go to school, we'll jump. We'll come back and jump. He held his pinky out to me, and I laughed as I hooked mine with his. You've got yourself a deal. Together we watched as the dark night sky melted into a cotton candy pink. It was nearing sunrise. I see why the older kids co-opted this part of the beach. This view is incredible. You haven't seen anything yet. Just wait until we get to the spot I have in mind. Gonna blow your mind. I just hope this photo makes as much as we need it to. Not that your dad cares one way or the other, as long as there's not enough money for football in the fall. You're preaching to the choir. Mason watched the waves roll in with sad eyes. Mentally, I'd kicked myself. Mason didn't need to be reminded. Sorry, I shouldn't have brought it up. No, it's fine. With the way he's been yelling lately, I'm sure everyone within city limits knows he's a hard ass. For just a moment, Mason grinned smugly. If he saw me now, his head would explode. I guess I wouldn't blame him. Technically, I am grounded after what happened in the gym. What? Then why are we here? Mason reached out and took my hand, the flames of the bonfire reflected in his eyes. Because you're talented enough to save the art program 100 times over, and I'm not gonna let my dad stop that. But you're gonna be in so much trouble. Relax, my dad will notice I'm gone. The only time he has anything to say to me is when we're discussing my season at the academy next year. And ever since our tour, I'm just not feeling confident about him. Mason, you can't let your dad decide your whole life. When you wanted to tap dance, he signed you up for ROTC. You'd asked to play catch, and he'd have you running routes. I hate to say it, but you should think about which Jennings your dad really wants to be on that field next year. Mason went quiet, but I could practically see my words rattling inside of his head. Finally, he climbed to his feet and held his hand out to me. It's almost time. We should get in position for your shot if we want to get this right. Thanks for talking things through with me. I don't know what I'd do without you. We'd have like a 3-minute chapter, probably. When my fingers touched his, I gave them a gentle squeeze. Somehow, I think you'd manage. Let's get going. Minutes later, Mason and I watched the first rays of sunlight peek over the horizon and splash across the sand, bathing everything in a golden glow. Would you look at this view? It's perfect. It would be even better if we panned up from the sand and actually took in the sky, but sure. I know just how to capture this. I ran up to the shoreline and began wading into the shallows, grimacing as the icy water soaked my clothing. Emma, you'll freeze. Won't your camera get wet? Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. The cold soaked into my skin, and the foamy spray of the surf splashed against my face, but I blocked it all out, focusing only on the slowly rising sun as the waves rolled in. Right about there. The flash mingled with the sun's rays, reflecting against the water and capturing each dazzling droplet as it hung in midair. Oh, suddenly a big, huge surf wave just came in. Oh, okay. Mason, I think I got it, look! I'd rather look at the sun, really, but okay. I waded back to shore, shivering, and Mason quickly wrapped a towel around me as I showed him the shot. Emma, you're crazy. I guess that's the key to being a true artist. That was exhilarating. I feel so alive. Oh, for the love of Christ, is this week's Pixelberry thing? Jumping in the cold water, feeling alive? As I dried off my damn camera, making sure it was still operational, Mason's phone buzzed. Oh no. What's wrong? At a word, Mason tilted the screen in my direction. Mason, where the hell are you? Come home now. He ran away from you, Dad. Go f*** yourself, Dad. And without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And down in the description below, links to social media, Discord, and if you'd like to support me and my content. And without further ado, as I said, I feel like this is this week's thing with Pixelberry. Hey, wanna go dive into some freezing water? You'll feel so alive. You know there's other ways to feel alive, right? Bye.